Today we're going to talk about relationship chart, especially when we are looking at axis like Rahu or Ketu. And if you don't know what Rahu represent or Ketu, it just means north and south node. So let's pay attention and learn about this. Let's learn what does it mean in a relationship chart. Hi, if you don't know who I am, I'm Sindy V King. I'm a creator of Calling My King. I help transform a woman to create lasting love through Vedic astrology, neuroscience, and transactional analysis so that she becomes the queen of love. And today, what does it mean when it comes to Rahu and Ketu in a relationship chart? So just keep on watching this and let's find out what does Rahu and Ketu means in either a Davidson chart, a composition chart, a Navamsha chart, or what you call a marriage chart. And just remember that Rahu and Ketu is a makeup, what a relationship really represents, and the main theme and mission and karmic lesson of it. So I just want to also make a disclaimer that just know that aspects affects this as well, and which planet is being next to or with or whoever is looking at Rahu and Ketu, it makes a huge difference. So just know that this one specific area doesn't mean that this is a deal breaker or that's the end of it or there's more to analyze with it as well. Like I said, Rahu and Ketu, we already know that it means north node and south node, and it's not a planet, it's not an asteroid, it's a point of a chart of axis. And I always feel like Rahu and Ketu, it's a big karmic lessons or the place where we need to go in a relationship. And I call it the mission. So when it looks to the north node, I think it's called a mission where we need to conquer. And our south node is already stuff that we already have in our past experience. And it's almost like when we're still dating. And when we're married, we have a different mission. And whatever it might be, it's either combining as income or raising kids. Just know that Rahu and Ketu is a point of axis, and you want to make sure that you either know which house is being pointed at, because that's going to be the theme. Is it going to be the theme pointing at North Node about in the 11th house? So that's mean your network and your friends and stuff. Just know that that's the theme that you might be having issue. When I say problem in this era, maybe you don't know how to balance your friendship time or when is a good time to network because you feel responsible that you need to be with your partner because they're struggling with a new baby at home. So you end up going in the K2 house, which is the 11th and the 5th house. And the 5th house is obviously has to do with children and your creativity and your learning as well. So if you're having those area of axis and you want to know where the planets are being placed, because that's going to be where the theme is going to be a good lesson, or is it going to be a very challenging lesson? And so when I say challenging, is the planet is healthy and it's happy on its own in that house placement, or is it unhappy when it's in the other house placement? When, for example, maybe it's Mars in Cancer, where Mars is not really thriving really well because it's really in its shell and it's not going to be conquered. And we know that Mars is all about conquering and doing things, so it has to do good to feel good. That's just one of the planets. When Moon is in that house, for example, Moon in Cancer, it's its own home and it's feeling great, and whatever comes its way, it's flexible and it's willing to adapt. So those are an example of having healthy planets in their own home, and who's with it as well makes a big difference. So if there's an unhappy planet there, which is I could represent maybe Saturn and maybe Moon together, they're not really happy together being in that same placement. So they're going to have a little bit edgy. They're going to come off a little bit cold and distant. And you're going to notice that a big difference, especially in the theme. What I have noticed, especially in chart, Rahu and Ketu creates disassociation, and I have noticed that because it is a separation from the head and the body, and whatever you feel doesn't feel normal to you anymore. Disassociation means that it's a disconnection. It means a disconnection of lacking connecting between the things that you used to associate with each other. And why does it happen? It just means a part of unbearable events. So, and sometime in a relationship, that's what's going to happen either in your own it's part of the survival mechanism. So that's what I really see as Rahu and Ketu. It's a disassociation in that area. So you are disconnected in those areas and you're trying to connect both the two. And it's really balancing between the two. You're juggling always between the two, either axis. So I just gave you an example of that, how it could work out. So in a relationship, I mentioned about either they're trying to network with their friend, trying to find time for having date nights with your significant other. So you can see the axis. I always see that that's where the huge problem is in a relationship, finding the balance between the two. Oh, I also find that K2 in a relationship, especially in a relationship, it's what happens behind closed doors. So you don't necessarily see it and it's not really publicly seen as well. Like I said, the north node, it depends where the axis is and if it's above the horizon or below the horizon. What I mean below and above the horizon, is it above the chart or below the chart? Where is it sitting at? You can see if it actually shows up in the public life. So a lot of people are aware of it and see it, or it's behind doors and they can't really see it as well. So it's just between the axis, the 2 and 2. Okay, so I want to thank you so much, and I'm going to be rolling out more astrology videos. So there is a playlist of all the astrology lists that I have made. I'll link it at the very end of this video. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.